The Roman Empire invaded Britain in 43 AD under Julius Caesar. The Romans established Corinium, nowadays known as Cirencester, as a wooden fort by a river, probably during 43 AD or maybe 44 AD. The fort was built away from native British Celtic people. The closest British Celtic settlement to Corinium was about 4 miles away, and that was a hill fort at what is now in the village of Baggendon. And that hill fort was occupied by a Celtic tribe known as the Dobunni. As per other Roman fortified sites, including forts, fortresses and towns, the was added to the end of the fortified place name to signify that the Roman fortified site had a defensive river crossing. Corinium successfully grew into a Roman town. This was because the Romans and the native Dobunni Britons were at peace. Corinium was rebuilt with stone walls during the 2nd century AD, and it was the second largest town in Roman Britain. The Roman walls of Corinium would have stood approximately 6 meters high above ground level. There were 4 gates to enter and or exit the town from. Corinium was located about 18 miles away from the Roman fortress of Glevum, now known as Gloucester. Nowadays there isn't much of the Roman stone perimeter walls to be seen here. This is just a small part of what was a large Roman town. Some of those stones look like granite. Granite is one of the strongest stones. That part is a base of where a bastion would have been adjoined to the wall, basically a fortified tower. This town would have had quite a few bastions adjoined to the walls. There are large earthwork remains of where a Roman amphitheatre used to be here. The amphitheatre was located just outside of the town walls. This amphitheatre is one of the largest surviving examples of a Roman Britain amphitheatre. Only the earthworks are here now, but this amphitheatre would have been constructed of wood quite high up with plenty of seating and or standing areas for spectators. Inside this amphitheatre, spectators would have been entertained by boxing events, wrestling events, and gladiator combat. Some of the gladiator events would have involved dangerous animals such as bears. Brown bears were living in Britain during Roman times in the wild, and there would have occasionally been big cats like lions brought in here from overseas. A wealth of very interesting Roman relics have been excavated here at Corinium. The Roman Empire left Britain in the early 5th century AD. This put the remaining Romano-British people at risk because they didn't have any Roman soldiers to protect them. And in the period of foreign invasions from Angles, Saxons and Vikings, this was not good for the people of Britain. In Anglo-Saxon times, this town was known as Cirencester. Cirencester was captured by the Saxon kingdom of Wessex in the 6th century AD, and then later in the 7th century AD, Cirencester was captured by the Anglo kingdom of Mercia. It remained under Mercian control for about 300 years, except for a few years in the 9th century AD when a Viking army from Scandinavia, known as the Great Heathen Army, took over control of Cirencester. But eventually the Vikings left on their own accords. Anglo-Saxon England was united in 927 AD, and then Angles and Saxons were all welcome here. Then, after the Norman conquest of England in 1066 AD, this town was known as Cirencester. And then later, in more modern times, this town is now known as Cirencester.